Hi everyone, Tom from Black Fox Coffee coming to you from chilly New York City. This will be the first coffee report. I'll try and keep these as frequent as possible. I'll keep you updated on our web store, our retail shelves at the shops, and maybe a little bit of coffee that we're brewing there. So you can pop in, say hello, and maybe see how we're brewing this coffee as well. I guess I better get started. So we've got a fresh shipment coming in from Luna. Luna are a roastery based out of Vancouver in Canada. Just a two-person team, Laura and Nate. Lovely people, lovely coffee. The stuff is clean, it's so vibrant, and we always get really excited when we have some new coffees coming in. Right now I've got the Pear Praline, Marshmallow Magic, Jelly Donut, and another bag called the Blue Honey. But next week we'll see a little bit of shift in our offerings because seasonality means that some coffees aren't available all the time. We also have a fresh shipment from a new roaster. These guys, Prolog. They're in Copenhagen in Denmark. We also source coffee from Coffee Collective, which is in the same city, so kind of similar in their roasting style, both Scandinavian, light, delicate. This one's Prolog was started by a two-time Danish barista champion, but also the roaster placed second last year in the roasting championship, so that's pretty cool as well. Doesn't mean everything, but some great building blocks there to get a company going. We have some pretty amazing coffees here. We have Selva Andina. This is an espresso roast from Peru. So for those brewing espresso at home or those that want maybe a coffee with a little lower acidity, a little more texture, great option there. We have the El Paraiso. This is a Caturra from Nariño region in Colombia. Nariño is known for like juicy, grapey coffees, and the Caturra often has this like jammy sweetness, maybe a little more developed than other varieties in the sense that you get more like molasses and panela sweetness, maybe a little brown sugar. I think the Jelly Donut from Luna, same variety, same region. So if you were to buy two together, this would be a really good option to compare two coffees, roasted a little bit different, but from the same area. We also have another special lot from Prolog, which is a geisha variety. A lot of people go pretty mad over geisha varieties. They're known to be incredibly floral, really sweet and complex, quite tea-like, and they go for a pretty high price. This one is $32. It's 250 grams though, so often, you buy a geisha, it comes in a smaller bag. Not this time. This one's also from the Nariño region as well, but you're going to get a lot of melon, a lot of green tea, jasmine, peachiness. Like, it's very sweet, very clean, pretty luxurious, good way to treat yourself or a close friend. Speaking of special coffees, we got a fresh shipment from Coffee Collective, and in the shipment we got this lot from Deiterra. Coffee Collective have a little cooperatively owned piece of land on Deiterra Farm in Brazil. They call it Our Plot, so every year we'll see a coffee from Coffee Collective that is labelled Deiterra Our Plot. This time we were lucky enough to get a 2-pack, and what they're calling a processing pack, where we have two coffees from the same lot of land, but processed in slightly different ways. They're both an anaerobic fermentation, which is where oxygen is removed during the fermentation stage. Usually the acidity created from that fermentation is really crisp and maybe a little brighter than a fermentation that introduces oxygen, but you'll get a little bit of like tropical fruit, like really complex tropical fruit from that as well. We have a natural process where the coffee is dried whole cherry, and we have a pulp natural process where the cherry is removed but some mucilage is left attached during the drying process. So good way to compare a couple of processing methods from the same farm. And amazing roaster, amazing farm, you really can't go wrong. $26 for two, both 200 gram bags. So pricing wise, that's pretty good. Brazil's pretty fortunate in that production costs are lower than a lot of other countries, especially our African lots. So we find that the coffees that we get from them, even though the quality is exceptional, the price point might be just a little bit lower. So a good way to introduce yourself to slightly more premium coffees without breaking the bank too much. And just lastly, before I head off, I've got a coffee from India which has been probably my highlight from the last week or two. This is from south of Mumbai on the west coast of India. It's roasted by 49th Parallel, who are also from Vancouver in Canada. In fact, Laura from Luna was the green buyer from 49th. Ratnagiri is this family-owned farm that's like really pushing the boundaries of specialty coffee in India. And so I think this is a beautiful opportunity for someone to taste coffee from a country that we just don't see that much quality out of at the moment, or at least I don't personally. This is a Katuai variety. It's a honey processed coffee. Again, like the Pulp Natural, the cherry is removed and it's dried with a little bit of mucilage attached. But from this one, you'll get a lot of chocolate, a lot of baking spices like nutmeg, and some really dried raisins, some dried fruit. It's super clean, a little fuller bodied, definitely lower in acidity to some other coffees that I've got here on the table, but just an amazing, different coffee that I would say get your hands on now, because who knows when you're going to get another chance to taste an Indian coffee. I would say that's it from me. Take a look through our web store. We have lots of other things coming up soon. I'll try and keep these frequent, as I said earlier. But until then, you can come and see me at our 70 Pine Street location in New York City, and send me an email. I'm happy to have a chat about anything that I've got coming up or any coffees that I'm excited about at the moment. Until then, happy brewing.